Nation. This is Osa. I can't wait for the season to get started, get playing with you guys, get on the field, and represent the star. You guys be sure to go check out J Tuck and subscribe to the Cowboys fans only, and keep doing your thing, bro.
Doing Cowboys Nation, it's Kelvin Joseph. I can't wait for the season to get started. Be sure you check out J Tuck, subscribe to his channel. Keep shining, the sky's the limit. You know the vibe. Stop playing.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy J Tuck, and you are now tuned into the Cowboys Fans Only channel. So if you're new, go ahead and do your boy a huge favor. Comment, like, subscribe, somewhere down there, somewhere down there, somewhere down there. And be sure to turn that notification bell to stay updated with all Dallas Cowboys content from the CFO channel. Also go to CFOCowboysFansOnly.com to get your merch, man. So I want to say, first and foremost, everyone in the chat, man, I appreciate all the new subscribers, man, who joined in on Tuesday night with me and Voch Lombardi. Salute to my guy, Voch. Salute to everyone, all the new people, man. So I appreciate everyone in the chat. But I got something even more special tonight, man. Tonight, I got a round table with some of my favorite guys who does some of this Dallas Cowboys content. You see me with them before on other channels, man. So we had to run it back, bring it back, man. So CFO family, I want you guys to give a warm shout out and a warm welcome to my guy Joe Rod, Space, and Rome Cowboys Fan Talk. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up, Tuck?
What's going on?
Nothing, man. I appreciate you guys for jumping on. Now, you guys probably think I got some, crazy type content we're going to talk about tonight. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. The last time we was together, right? Salute to my guy, Skywalker. We was on the Cowboys Around the Horn, thing. And you guys beat me by 1 point. My guy Space beat me by 1 point, man. So I just came to the mute Space, man. I'm a mute Space. Get my 1 point back. That's all we're really here for, man. But what's going on, fellas, man? How y'all doing?
Ready to talk football, man. Cowboys football.
Yeah.
Camp's almost here.
Camp's here, man. Before we start, man, I want you guys to go around, introduce yourself. So, Joe, I'm going to start with you. Go ahead, let everybody know where they can find you, all of your content, where your channel's at, and a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Appreciate everybody tuning in. You guys can find me on YouTube. Just look me up there. My handle there, Cowboys Blog. And you can hit me up on Twitter, Cowboys Blog Net, and we can hit it up there in the DMs.
All right, bet. Space, my guy, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, guys, you can find me at YouTube on Space Cowboy 17, that page, along with S Cowboy 17 on Twitter if you haven't done so already.
Right, and last but not least, my guy, Mr. Rome. Where can they find you at, man? Probably everywhere, bro, but go ahead and let them know.
It's your boy, Mr. Rome. You can find me at Cowboys Fan Talk on YouTube and Cowboys_Fan Talk on Twitter. Yeah, man, I appreciate you bringing me on, man. I'm on here with some of the greats, so I appreciate it.
Hey, man, like I said, man, great content, great Cowboys minds, man. So definitely subscribe to all their channels. I'm gonna post their links down below in the chat as well. But let's get to it, man. And Joe, I'm gonna specifically start with you, my guy, because last week it was announced that we were gonna be on Hard Knocks, right? And a lot of Cowboys fans, self-included, I was cool with it. I was excited about it. All right, let's roll. I posted a tweet that kind of went viral and got other fan bases hollering at me, you know what I'm saying, talking about they just want to watch us lose. Like, man. But you was one of the people I saw, and you ain't having it, man. You're not excited, bro. So go ahead and tell everybody, why are you not excited about the Dallas Cowboys being on Hard Knocks for 2021 season?
So just to clarify, I'm not excited that they got selected, but I am going to be watching, no doubt about that.
Right.
You can believe that. But as far as the track record of it and everything, you want to go into this without distractions and everything. You want to install this defense in training camp without any bull crap, the cameras. You know what I mean? I just there's always some kind of Hollywood element with the Cowboys. You know what I mean? It's all or nothing. It was nothing.
Facts.
We could be the first team that gets to the Super Bowl. And that's what it's going to have to take. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But that's all it was for me. As soon as I saw the news, I just rolled my eyes. But I'll be tuning in, no doubt about that.
Well, we are going to be tuning in. Like I said, from a fan's perspective, I see you can kind of be like, all right. But from a content creator, man, I love it because every episode we gonna be right in front of y'all,
sure.
dropping video after video, man. So Space, let me
100%.
ask you this: like Joe just mentioned, the distraction factor. That's what some fans are kind of on the fence about. Do you think that being on Hard Knocks would be a distraction for Dallas Cowboys, or do you think it's not an issue?
I think being a part of the Dallas Cowboys is a distraction enough. I mean, the lights are always bigger in Texas, specifically in Dallas. I mean, I did some stat looking to see like how each team performed. About 37%, so 6 out of the 16 teams that have been on Hard Knocks made the playoffs. The Cowboys are still the only team that had a winning record that didn't make the playoffs. And I mean, a lot of people say it's like a curse or something like that, but 9 times out of 10, you watch some of these squads and it's like, they're really rebuilding teams. You know, I look at some of these teams like the Rams. They were in the greatest of positions in 2016. The Bucks in 2017. The Browns, the Raiders. You know, those types of teams. I mean, the criteria says that a team has to not make the playoffs for the past 2 years, or they have or they can't have a first-year coach, or they have appeared on the show in the past 10 years. I think those are the 3 bits of criteria.
Right.
When Dallas made the show in 2008. I don't think it was the show that caused them to go 1-4 or 1-3 down the stretch. Right. You know, they were the last time or the first time they were on, it was what they went 5-11. That team was just like whatever the hell. So,
Dave Campbell, right?
So I mean, I personally don't care. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't care. I mean, for a content creating standpoint, it's like, hey, we got some more stuff to talk about. But I don't think it's anything. I think it's just more. They're only there for a couple of days, and it's just like, you know.
Right.
So
Just Rome, how are you feeling about the Hard Knock situation?
Well, look, man, you know me. Me and you, we've been like tag team champs on this whole. We gonna just be Duke University with it.
Right.
I'm gonna lean into the whole like if everybody gonna hate the Cowboys, I'm gonna make sure you got a reason to hate us.
Right.
So I'm not too mad about it because it gives me more reason to pump my chest up. I know people hate it, but look, man, I'm from the school to look, man. If you gonna hate me, I'm not gonna sit around and just wallow and just be like, all right.
Right.
I guess I'll listen to your thoughts on the team. But as far as us being on Hard Knocks, man, it's just for ratings. It's more so it's gonna be produced like a TV show.
Right.
They're gonna find stuff on the show that we don't really care about as content creators. As far as like they're gonna find like what they've been saying. They're gonna find that guy that's on the roster bubble and is he gonna make it and how does he feel about this with his family? They're gonna talk about Dak's ankle and we all kind of past that unless we see something medically that changes. We don't want to talk about that no more. We spent enough time talking about it.
Right.
You know, they're not going to spend any time on anything that's really going to be viable for the fanatics like us for. Like we know most of the stuff they're going to. The stuff we want to dig into is going to be coming from the actual reporters.
Right.
And what's really going on in camp. I don't care that they're going to they're going to follow Simi around because he's good for the camera.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Like, that's what it's going to be for. Now, I'm going to watch it because it's a TV show.
Right.
But I'm not going to gain any type of real knowledge on this football team outside of – I think I've heard you make this point the other day, really just seeing how Mike McCarthy handles the team. And when I say that, I mean – and even like all the leadership, how do they keep people mentally in line?
Right.
You know, you're going to get some – they're going to press to find ways to get like, I don't want to call it outtakes, but just something to lean into. And I do want to see how Mike McCarthy kind of keeps everybody level-headed with the right mission at hand. Because, you know, Jerry doesn't care. He's like, hey, man, y'all freestyle. Figure it out.
Right, figure it
I
out.
don't care. Whatever's for the ratings. I want to see if Mike has some – because the stories will come out if Mike's trying to keep a cap on it. And I would like to hear that, you know, because I watched your video earlier. Of course, well, I watch all your videos. And when you were talking about is Mike McCarthy the guy, you know, and we could probably touch on that a little bit more later, but I agree with you, man. I think Mike gets a bad rap. You know, all of the great coaches in this league have had struggle seasons, you know, even with great quarterbacks. Right. Mike has his quarterback go down with a broken collarbone, they have a bad season, or he has Dak get hurt and they have a bad season, and he don't get a mulligan.
Right.
But when Big Ben is out for the year, they're like, oh, no, Tomlin is struggling because Big Ben was out. So
they almost made the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so. Yeah.
You know, and when Brady went down, it's like, I mean, you know, now I'm not saying that he's Belichick or Tomlin or Reed. I'm saying that he shouldn't be talked about with Nick Sirianni.
Right.
Like, they be mentioning him with, and not just to bring up the Eagles, just any other team. They be mentioning him with the bottom run coaches, and I'm like, oh, so his Super Bowl just don't even count.
Right.
You know, because all the Belichick's count, he had to go.
Right.
But just because he won his with Aaron Rodgers, it don't matter.
Right.
But I don't want to get too far off on a tangent. I just feel like Hard Knocks is going to do nothing but put this. It's what, extra 2 cameras we already got?
Yeah, it's going to be, and that's why I keep trying to tell Cowboys fans, there's going to be cameras out there regardless. It's going to be open to the public. I'm going to be out there with my damn camera. I know other, the Cowboys are useless, and you mentioned all or nothing. So, like, the leaders, Dak and Zeke, they've been through this process before, and that was an entire season. All or nothing's an entire season.
That's wild, yeah.
This is just training camp. So, you know, people got to understand that Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff, they have discretion. They can edit, post-edit, say, nah, take that out, take this out. So it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to reveal our plays and, Tampa's going to have a jump on us because of Hard Knocks. It's not going to be that. It's going to be very fast foodish, right? Us, like you said, you know what I'm saying? We going to know what it is. Like, okay, cute story, send me, whatever. So the fans who really don't know much, okay, it might be more applicable to them. For us, we waiting on Oxnard. We waiting on preseason. That's where we're gonna get to the real meat and potatoes of everything. I mean, what you're gonna show us on Hard Knocks, we've already know. But
I'll add this to it. The whole the curse thing. Everybody want to make everything a curse.
Right.
I've seen all the curses fall. I've seen the Madden curse.
Right.
That's over with. It's not a Madden curse.
It's put Mahomes back on the Madden cover. He was on the cover, won a Super Bowl. Now he's back on the cover again.
Lamar was on the cover. He's fine. He went
Right.
the Madden curse is over. Knock on wood, because I don't want to see no big injuries.
And Antonio Brown took it.
The whole win the Super Bowl. If you're the home team, that's over too.
Right.
Now I'm not. I swear I ain't here to be the guy that's like, because we going to the chip. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying though. I'm not leaning into this whole curse thing. Like you said, Space, it's not going to be if we had a bad losing streak midseason, I'm going to be like, you know what, them cameras are
Hard Knocks, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be
that. You mentioned this in your video room when you talked about it. The Rams made the playoffs last year.
Right.
And they were on Hard Knocks. They went 11-5 and won a playoff game.
Beat us opening night.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, Joe, let me ask you, my man, as far as Hard Knocks is concerned, what kind of stories would you be interested in seeing from Hard Knocks from that standpoint, from the Cowboys fans' perspective?
You want to know about the Michael Parsons, highlight him a little bit more, as far as like what you heard, leading up to the draft and this sorts of thing. I think fans are a lot more behind him now, but, it would be nice to see a little bit more of him. And I think they're going to highlight him. You know what I mean? He's your number 1 pick, high, and he's thrown into the Lions Den with a lot of other linebackers. So that storyline, I think, is going to be very interesting to see as far as like, who's he going to take the snaps away from? Is it LVE, Jalen? It's going to come from somebody. Somebody's going to lose some snaps there, right? So that's one that I'm looking forward to. And then, the whole Dan Quinn, you know what I mean? I want to see the development, hands-on approach and this sorts of thing, develop. I hate talking about, Legion of Boom. It seems like we're always talking about that, whether it was, Chris Richard, or now we got, Dan Quinn in here, but you want to see him develop his own kind of defense. You know what I mean? And I think you have a lot of young players in place to make that happen. So I'm interested to see the defensive side of the ball. I already kind of know what the offense is all about, with Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy. You throw in Ben McAdoo, maybe there's going to be some different wrinkles in that regard, but the defense is where I really want to see some things in there. I mean, they're not going to show a lot, right? But it'll just be interesting to see some stuff from them.
Right. Space, how about you?
Yeah, sure. Obviously we want to see how this defense is going to be progressing from the previous year to this year, but I'm really curious to see how they're going to I want to see how CeeDee Lamb is progressing, going from year 1 to year 2. I think we're aware of what jump he's going to take, but what makes this more important is because you have Gallup coming up on his contract expiring. So you want to see CD take that next step to superstardom, which I'm assuming he's going to. I think he will. And then on top of that, I want to see what's going on at the tight end position, because now it's not as certain that Blake Jarwin is your guy that we thought so. Now you have, Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin there. So who's going to run with it there? And I think that's an important storyline to talk about as well.
Right.
So.
And let's be honest, we all know who the real star of this show is going to be. It's going to be Jerry Jones. And what I mean, it's already sealed. Like I said last night, salute to my Star Gang family. I was like, first episode, opening scene, I just need to see Jerry pull up to the Oxnard in the yacht and it's be like Alvarado. You know what I'm saying? Like, open it up, man. But I really want to see is Jerry Jones leading off the coaches' meetings like he did with Jason Garrett. Because when you watch All or Nothing, Jerry Jones used to lead the coaches' meetings before anybody would say something. It was Jerry Jones. So I'm really trying to see, how is this interaction with Mike McCarthy, this new staff, and Jerry Jones? Is he as hands-on-ish?
Yeah, I don't want to see that. That would make me mad.
Oh yeah. When Jerry's like, well, actually, I would like to see a little bit more Jalen. That's what's going to happen.
If he wants to lead off the beginning, cool. But if I see Jerry out there every day,
he's going to. So you think Jerry Jones is going to see all these cameras and not be front and center? Come on, bro.
You know what I think Jerry doing? Real quick, I think Jerry probably filming his own little back documentary.
Right.
He probably got his own cameras out there doing his own thing. So
right.
You're probably right. He probably because he not gonna just let HBO get it. Is it because you don't think that Jerry Jones doc coming one day?
Yeah,
he got his own cameras everywhere.
Oh yeah,
so,
it is. So Jerry Jones and I'll say Kelvin Joseph. I feel like he's the one that could benefit from it the most because right now a lot of fans on the fence when it comes to Kelvin Joseph, and so I feel like if they can see who he really is, behind the cameras, behind the scenes, maybe that can be a story that a lot of people can gravitate to that can ultimately help him because he's going to be an important piece of our defense, man. So like I said, we are going to be watching it, and here's the cool part. All the haters, they ain't gonna be watching too, man. And so it is what it is. We gonna be like I said on Twitter. I don't want to hear all these Eagles fans like, oh, Dak threw a pick and Harden. Oh, y'all watching now? Oh, y'all saw that?
Wait.
Y'all saw that? Like, nah. So,
bro, they can't wait to nitpick.
No, they're gonna nitpick. Our fans are gonna nitpick. They're gonna nitpick. So, I'm gonna pause real quick, man. Salute to everyone in the chat, man. Keep the questions coming, man. So many people blowing up the chat. What's up, Tony? I see you. What's up, Mary? See you, April. What's going on, Matt? New subscriber. I appreciate you. What's up, C? So I want to dive into something in space. I'm gonna let you lead off to it because Micah Parsons, you can see the jersey on. I think that's the only Micah Parsons jersey I've seen thus far, like on somebody.
Really?
I think I'm gonna get one, but I know you're a Penn State guy.
One too. That joint looking nice.
Yeah, it's clean, bro. I'm not
clean.
gonna lie. Like that one, like some with these lower digit numbers.
The lower digit numbers.
Like when my CD Lamb, I didn't put the tags off of it from last year, but my CD Lamb 10
You not getting a 9?
Huh?
You not gonna get a 9?
Ooh, speaking of 9, so let's go. Speaking of 9, let's talk about it. So, Space, you mentioned earlier the linebacker core, right? So we added Micah Parsons in this draft, young rookie, tremendous upside. What do you think that means for the linebacker core that we currently have in house with Dallas, and how is things going to look once we get to the season?
Well, all it says is, listen, you guys better show the hell up or you're getting the fuck out of here. No, I'm just no, but like in all seriousness though, look, you got Jabril Cox coming in along with I almost said Jalen Smith, Jesus Christ. With Micah Parsons. These two guys, like it's one thing when you draft a guy high, but when you take another guy that was viewed as a highly regarded prospect, that's when you're like, oh,
the writing's on the wall.
Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is like, okay, LVE, he has his contract option not taken, so now it's even like, okay, what's going on here? Now, do I think Jalen's going to get pushed off a bridge? No. I think that based off of his contract, I think Dallas is going to hold on to him for at least another year or two. Mm-hmm. But we all know that LVE is kind of getting shoved out the door, it looks like. And some people will say like, oh, does this mean LVE's on the chopping block? Maybe if he doesn't show up.
That's the one I would keep. It's just
me personally, I agree. I would keep him because of his contract, but I'm really curious to see because we all know, the one thing we wanted with our linebackers is coverage. That was the one thing that we struggled with last year was we had guys that, weren't covering. And then if it's up to me, I need Micah to have a microphone in his head, in his helmet. I can't have Jalen being the guy that's the quarterback of my defense. Just not trying to be like this, but this is shown is he's not really a smart. From what we've seen, how this defense is played with him at the helmet hasn't been that well. So I need to see someone else there, and I think that if you need a guy to be your leader, Micah's going to be that dude. People will be like, "Well, he's only played linebacker for 2 years, and look how good he is." He went from being like, "Oh, this guy's playing defensive end," to this guy's a linebacker and he's playing at a high level. wait until he gets to his high potential, and he's going to be tearing shit up. That I could tell you. But I'm looking at Jalen and I'm looking at LV, and they aren't, their spots aren't certain. Maybe Jalen because he got the contract, but I think that if I'm looking for my 2 starting linebackers, that's going to be Cox and Parsons at some point because they can cover at least. Right. And I need guys that can cover, especially what Dan Quinn's trying to do. So
yeah. Now, Joe, let me ask you this question because Space mentioned a few things, and this was brought to my attention, on Tuesday night show. Do you think of the possibility of Micah Parsons being a stash play, meaning a player that Dan Quinn isn't really looking to have impact immediately, and he might just be in the rotation? The reason why is, do we really think that we drafted Micah Parsons because we needed new linebackers? Or was that the case that we got sniped pretty much for the 2 top corners and we needed defense and he was kind of the next guy there? So could he be one of the slow plays as an insurance policy after next season after we move on from either Jalen Smith or LVE? Or do you think that he's going to be the lead dog coming into linebacker position, maybe the Mike position out the gate?
Oh, no doubt he's going to be the lead dog. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to have the green dot on the helmet. You know what I mean? So he's too much of a blue chip player to have just sitting there and watching somebody out here missing tackles or stuff like this.
I agree with John.
So, right. And the thing about it too is, I feel like the Cowboys are finally giving some love to the defense. Let's try to build a new core. Michael Parsons, Diggs, and we'll see what Gallimore is in year 2. So the defense should be on the upside. The arrow is going up on paper. Now it's about executing Dan Quinn's system and pulling all the pieces in place. But I feel good what they've done at the defensive tackle position. I think that'll bode well for how the linebackers look this year. We shouldn't be getting blown up at the second level as much. I'm crossing my fingers.
Now, right, as much, like cross your fingers. So, Roman, let me ask you this, because you just dropped the video. I saw the video you just dropped. So, right, Jalen Smith is like the #1 hated Cowboys amongst Cowboys fans. Why? I don't know. You could probably speak on that. But let's say, for instance, and shouts out to my guy, Professor O, we were talking about this earlier, like Jalen Smith pretty much played like 97% of the snaps last year. So, do we think that his snaps are really going to be cut that drastically, going from 97 to 40 or off the team? Or do you think it's going to be slightly maybe around 75, 85, but we're still going to see a lot of Jalen Smith out there on the field?
I think, to Joe's point, I think we're going to roll out. I know we're going to play 2 linebackers primarily most of the time, depending on what's going on. I think the 2 linebackers we're going to see is going to be Jalen Smith and Michael Parsons.
Right.
Because I feel like they got special plans for Keanu Neal. Mm-hmm. Everybody keep forgetting about him. I don't feel like he can play a little. Obviously, he can play safety if they need him to. Right. So they're going to get him on the field, especially if Donovan Wilson regresses a little bit. But as far as with the 2 linebackers with Jalen and how much he's going to actually play percentage-wise, I feel like they're going to try to give him a shot. They're going to let him play his way out of it. Mm-hmm. Difference with last year, there was no cavalry coming. So when Jalen makes stupid plays, they're like, well, who we going to put in? Francis Bernard? Like, no, get back on the field.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jalen make a stupid play. He really got to look over his shoulder because they might let you make like 2 or 3 stupid plays, but they're going to be like, you know what? Come off the field, Jalen. Right. We'll put you back on when it's time for a pass rush package.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's all he's going to do, but I'm saying that if he starts off slow or, like he was last year, just almost there, because he's good at that.
Right.
Almost being there, I think slowly but surely, hopefully it's not too slow, they're going to work other linebackers onto the field, Because if I wouldn't be surprised if by week, let's just say 3, let's be generous.
Okay.
If the first 2 weeks he's struggling, and then you'd be like, oh, Micah and LVE started. Because that's who's right next. It's not Keanu. I think it'll be LVE.
Right.
And I don't even think he'll play Ben. I got faith in LVE.
Yeah.
His has been injuries.
Right.
I don't got faith in Jalen, and I said this in the video because it wasn't like a drastic injury. I know he had his injury. He came back from it, and he showed that he can fight back, and he played well for about 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And then last year, I think it was 2 years, the year before last, before Mike Nolan, because everybody keeps saying it was Mike Nolan's scheme, he showed decline that year.
But he was a Pro Bowler in 2019, was it? Yeah, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but Pro Bowl don't always tell the story. You know that.
But here's the thing I want to say, y'all, about Jalen, right? Is he a bad player or is he annoying to Cowboys fans?
He's both.
So how is he how is he a bad player? So break it down. And I'm going around the table. So what
he had like 150 plus tackles.
Right.
And out of all those 150 tackles, you, in your mind, tell me the game-changing play that happened last year. Give me one. One play.
I mean, I think it was about the New York game. I think he had a good solid game in the game that Dak got hurt. I think he had.
Not a solid game at 150 tackles.
Right.
You should have one game-changing play. Like, remember when Jalen did that? Because if I brought up Darius Leonard, or if I brought up Devin Bush, or any of the other linebackers, I hate to bring up White. He was everywhere the whole playoffs.
Right.
I just want one play from, and I thought about it. And the plays that I do remember, Jalen's like, he was almost there. Or he tackled somebody 15 yards downfield, got up, did the swipe, and they moving the chains. So it's just annoying. Like, he don't help his cause when he tackles somebody for a first down.
And I think that's what it is with Cowboys fans, is that he's annoying. Because you think about it, sometimes when you go back and watch the film, he's playing almost 7 yards off the ball, right? We didn't have a defensive line, which we all know. So running backs were getting up the field up to the second level. It was like, he was kind of almost at the last minute defense. And I feel like the things that Jalen does great and why Dan Quinn is going to utilize him is because if you put him on the line of scrimmage and just have him coming forward, simplify things, if you have him and Micah Parsons out there, you could be a blitz-heavy scheme. But I feel like last year it was just scheme, a celebration. Like it was a mix of a lot for Jalen. But I don't think he's a bad player. I think that he's going to move forward.
Out of position?
Huh?
He was playing out of position last year.
I think he's playing out of position. I don't think he should be the middle linebacker.
So, I wanted to prove me wrong. I had to be like, I was wrong. Jalen came back with a vengeance. I got to shut up. I would love, because you know what? If Jalen looks great, Micah looks great, LV looks great, Cox is looking good in training camp, right. Keanu Neal's playing good, guess what we have?
A much better
assets.
Right.
We got assets, and if we got that many assets, that means we can get someone else in here to help this team.
Or get a first round.
If somebody plays trash, then we got baggage.
Right.
But I would love for all of them to look good. I would love to have that problem, like, all of them looking at it. Even Jabril Cox looking crazy. Then you think teams ain't gonna call us, hey man, y'all don't need 5 linebackers.
Right.
Let me get one. And we can finally be like, well, let me get a corner.
Right. Exactly.
All right. But if one of them, if Jalen plays like I was saying in the video, unfortunately, it's baggage because the contract makes people be like, you know what I'm saying? And look, a year and a half ago, I've been the biggest Jalen fanboy. Y'all remember the plays when he chased down Deshaun Watson and Kamara,
right,
and he could beat people to the edge and stuff like that. It just seems like he's just this close now, and then he doesn't seem like the thing that the straw that broke the camel's back, for lack of better wording, was that thing in New York when he got into it with the lineman, and he's doing all this extra John with the guy. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was full game.
And it was just like, all right, what like at this point it's like, what are you trying to prove? Like, so that's what threw me off, because I didn't understand. I was like, is he just trying to draw attention to himself?
He was just doing too much.
Is he genuinely mad or not? So that's what threw me off.
Right. Joe, let me hear your thoughts on Jalen, man. Do you think he can have a bounce back season? Is he gonna, be 40% snaps, 50% snaps? Where would you kind of gauge Jalen going into the 2021 season?
I don't think he's a bad player. I think, he's been part of a bad unit.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's shown that he has the ability and that sort of thing, but he does have some limitations with the drop foot. It's not 100%. Right. And he's probably operating at probably like 85% out there. Shedding the large guys, you can tell that he's a little bit hesitant. He doesn't want to get thrown again and hyper extend the knee or, mess it up again. So he has a big problem shedding the big guys. And I don't think Parsons has that problem at all. And that's what Jalen was pre-injury. He was Micah Parsons. He was this guy that was sideline to sideline, speed, can shed, can do all that stuff. But there are limitations there, you know what I mean? And the Cowboys, I think they're kind of seeing some of that, and that's why they're building the future. You know what I mean? This could be his final year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think they're building in preparation for the future, whether it's without LVE, without Jalen, you have Cox, you have Michael Parsons. They can go foot again.
Yeah. Maybe that drop foot is catching up with him. I can't get mad at him if the old injury is just, if it's rearing his ugly head and he could overcome it.
He also looked bigger last year to me. I'm not sure if I'm tripping, but he looked a little bit bigger last year. So I'm not sure if he put on extra size. COVID size, but I think Jalen Smith is going to have a bounce back season, man.
I would love it.
And I think, I think what's really going to come down to this offseason, what to take a look at is Jalen Smith versus LVE. Who's going to be the one they maintain, who they keep? So I feel like LVE, if healthy, he can have a a boom season, but I just don't know about his health, man. But I think LVE pretty much knows what's going on right now, so he's going to step up, and that's my
like he's the trade asset, not that I want him gone, because of his contract.
Because his contract, right? The 5th-year option. They just asked in the chat, man. My guy Gerald Beasley at Cap Mode, your opinion on Anthony Hines or Francis Bernard? So I know a lot of people were high on Francis Bernard last year. He's kind of our coverage guy, but we really don't need him because we got so many guys in house that can do that. Whether it's Keanu Neal, Jabril Cox. So Space, let me ask your thoughts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Anthony Hines out of Texas A&M. Actually, he's one of my favorite undrafted free agents. But do you think that Francis Bernard could be one of the odd men out, either him or Luke Gifford, and one of these undrafted free agents could slide there that last kind of like 5th linebacker spot?
Yeah, like I'm not super familiar with Anthony Hines, so I'm not going to give you a negative or a positive opinion. But what I can tell you is that when you look at who you have in that linebacking room, all right, so you got Micah Parsons, that's your first-round pick. You're not going to move on from him. Right. You have Jalen Smith. You already gave him his money. You're not going to move on from him. You got Jabril Cox. You just spent a 4th-round pick. This isn't like a late round pick, so you're going to probably keep him on the squad. Right. You have LVE, maybe. So you already got 4 there.
Right.
So then that 5th guy, you have to think to yourself, okay, who's the best undrafted guy? Now, from what we've heard, Francis Bernard did really well in training camp last year. But when we saw on the field, we saw that, and this was in the previous preseason before he got hurt, Gifford showed a lot of promise. So I couldn't tell you how it's going to look because I need to see what happens this year with everybody in the mix with a full COVID-free, all season.
And that's something you would definitely want to highlight when you're watching camp or Hard Knocks is the rotation with the linebackers. Who's going to be kind of like that 5th, 6th rotational guy? Kind of fill people in. Anthony Hines was in Texas A&M. He played for Jimbo Fisher. He was an opt-out guy last year, but a solid linebacker, solid tackler, great speed. He's a little light, you know what I'm saying, but he has a lot of athleticism, and he's an undrafted free agent, which is going to be fairly cheap. And so we know how Stephen Jones and, Jerry Jones likes to think.
Wasn't he like a high prospect, though?
Yeah, he was a high prospect. Like, honestly, if Hines would have probably played last year, he probably would have been a top 4-round pick, give or take. Who he reminds me of is one of my favorite prospects, Cameron McGrone, who was drafted by the Patriots. He's a little Cameron McGrone-ish. Like, he's a little bit on the lines of that. So he's out of Plano, Texas. I think he played at high school in Texas. So he was a top recruit. Jimbo Fisher likes to recruit, man. So, definitely a guy you definitely keep our eye on. And that's what we were saying. We were saying off screen is like, for us as content creators, man, we love preseason. We love training camp because we get to focus on these type of guys and kind of watch them emerge and see if they can to make a roster spot. So what I want to transition into next is the defensive line. All right. So we brought some guys in. We know how important defensive line is because it was pretty much non-existent last year. So Neville Gallimore got great reps as a rookie. Even though Tristan Hill went down, he still looked a little bit better than he did the previous years. We also brought in Brent Urban, who a lot of Cowboys fans are excited about. So let me get your thoughts, Joe. I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the interior defensive line? And do you think that we've improved, and how did we improve?
Yeah, they definitely improved. And, through subtraction, you got rid of Antoine Woods. I was never really a fan of him.
Right.
Same thing.
I wasn't really a big fan of him. And then you got, Don Terry Poe is a complete, utter disaster, agent bust. So, you add in Brent Urban, who, PFF, if you like him or you hate him, he does have a high run stop percentage rate. So you like that. It's what we need. It's where we got gashed. And then, you're throwing in somebody. Year 2, Neville Gallimore, I think, is going to really pop off. He could be one of the guys that becomes a big force there. He had the fastest 40 coming out Oklahoma that year he got drafted. You saw it last year on the field, busting up players in the backfield, making people pay. That's what you want to see. We talk about the Cowboys needing to be more physical. I think they added more guys here that are more physical. You know what I mean? Gallimore, Urban, I like him there. And then you drafted some young cats in here, you know what I mean? Osa Odigizua, I think that this guy has the potential to be a really stout 1-2 punch in there in the rotation. Right. I'm not going to say he's going to be a Pro Bowl or rookie year, but I think you're going to get good production from him for a rookie. And then who else did they add in there? Those are the main ones.
Yeah,
Ohana. We'll see how he looks. I know a lot of fans are high on him, but he is a late round guy. Is he specialty? Is he just going to be a nose tech in a 3-4 formation, or are they going to line him up in a 4-3? So it'll be interesting to see where he fits into this. But my wild card is what happens to Tristan Hill here. You know what I mean?
That's my next question. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and chime in, Joe. What do you think happens to Tristan Hill? And we'll go ahead and go around the horn here with that.
I think going into this, he's definitely you have to look at him as a bubble player because nobody's attached to him. You know, he wasn't drafted by McCarthy, and he wasn't. There's no allegiance really. You know what I mean? He has nobody to speak up for him. He's got to really take his game a lot higher than everybody else on this. Now, does he have that in him? Mm-hmm. We're gonna find out real quick. But if he doesn't, I could see him being out of here, man.
And has anyone heard? Is he going to be camp ready? Because I haven't heard anything about his health.
I haven't heard. I'll be forgetting he on the team. No one.
That's the point, Rome. Is like no one's really talking about Tristan Hill's kind of.
And I'm not even talking about us. I'm talking about the reporters.
Right, nobody. Exactly. I haven't heard any health status on Tristan Hill. Is he going to be camp ready? Because like if he's out still in the middle of camp, just like you said, Joe, he's on an uphill battle. Because like I don't know you, like Dan Quinn. I got my guys in the draft, right?
I got Tristan Hill being a Raider. I'm telling you right now.
You think he's gonna be a
Raider? He's gonna go right over there with the familiarity. I'm not saying he's gonna start, but once he leaves us, he's gonna probably go over there with the people that were trying to groom him in the first place.
So let me ask you this:
unless they're fired, so
Space, do you think if that was to happen, that we gave up on Tristan Hill too early?
No, I mean, here's my thing. Like Joe mentioned, they're not attached to him, and I think that we can't keep waiting and waiting and waiting for him to. I'm not saying he played completely terrible last year.
He flashed last year. He flashed
because he did. Yeah. Absolutely. My thing is that if you go into this camp and you say, okay, well, I got these guys that I got in the draft, and they're actually performing better, and they're farther ahead than where Tristan is in his development. You might have to be like, you know what? Maybe we have to cut ties with him because we have these guys that have a little bit higher upside. And that's the problem that I have with Tristan is that we don't know his health. And if, God forbid, that he is out for training camp or he's not able to participate, he's done probably. Mm-hmm. But if he's healthy and he's all good to go, I have a good feeling he's going to definitely make the team in terms of like what he can bring. But when you drafted two other guys to come into this mix, it makes it a lot harder to be like, okay,
it's like linebackers.
It's like, and the thing, and to add on to this is that we just need some guys to depend on. I understand that the Cowboys love to do this dumb rotation crap that most of the time doesn't work. Right. We just need a solid group of guys that can go in and get us some good quality minutes and snaps. I'm not asking for an Aaron Donald in that mix. I just need you to go in there and be disruptive to give, DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory time to get to the quarterback or give him better time there. Help my linebackers out, help my secondary out, but Tristan Hill, if he's healthy, I think him and Gallimore are going to be great young pieces to build around. But you got these two other young guys, and it's tough to see him making the team. So
let me piggyback off what Space is. Basically, what you're saying, you want him to do the dirty work. And I know, words are just, actions is what we really worried about. Yeah. But I do like to hear, like Brent Urban is solidified that look, man, I'm a hard hat guy.
Right.
He has never his actions in his previous play have showed that, no, I'm not trying to be Aaron Donald. I'm here to stop the run. That's what I do. I've heard Bohanna say it. I know he got to make the team first. And that from like Chauncey Golston, I know he looks like he can play inside, outside. And you got Odigizua. I'm hoping that all of those guys have that mentality. Mm-hmm. It is about, and Neville Gallimore. I want them to be able to go to work, do your job first. Mm-hmm. This isn't about like I was saying with Jalen when I was like, well, where's the splash plays? Because I was being specific because of the volume of tackles he had. But I want my D tackles and my D line to put their hard hat on and go to work.
Right. Before
you're worrying about, can I get 6 or 7 sacks as a D tackle? Don't worry about that.
The focus, right?
If you do your job first. If the quarterback's on the way there, great. Right. But I don't want guys trying to slide past the guard or trying to just get that so you can you letting run gaps be developed because all you're worrying about is getting sacks. Mm-hmm. And I think we've had a little bit of that with I hate to bring him up with Antoine Woods and stuff like that. You ready to do your little celebration more than you worried about doing your job.
Too much hero
and
ball
I'm just
going on.
I want people to do their job. So I'm hoping that mentality, like Joe was saying, man, and Space, just go out there and do your job, man. Let's get to work so that, you know what? And then maybe Jalen and them will look totally different when they can flow free.
Yeah, keep the linebackers clean, man. And from someone who played linebackers, man, don't get them guards up on me, bro. I'm done. So,
and to add on to that, not to cut you off, but the thing that differentiates from last year going into this year is I felt like with last year, when McCarthy just wanted to run it back with the last year's squad, with 2019 squad. And they're like, you know what? If we just tweak a couple plays here and there, maybe, just maybe, we have a contender here. But the problem was that defense had no competition. They had literally – everyone was kind of guaranteed, like, okay, you're okay. Now it's like, on second thought, maybe we need some other guys in here. So I think that this year is going to definitely push everyone to be their best.
So my guy Steve Lupton asked a question to the group. Who do you think is the anchor? Like when it comes to interior defensive line, who is our guy? And Joe, I'll start with you.
I think our guy, I think there's a lot of pressure on it being Gallimore, but it could also be Urban because he has that veteran. He has a lot of those games under his belt. So probably Urban, probably Gallimore, my number 2 guy, and then everybody else got to earn their keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Space, how about you?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I would probably lean with Urban because he's the most experienced guy in there. But I think that if I had to go off of potential, it's probably going to be either Gallimore, maybe Iguodala, probably. I mean, or Goldston. I mean, those guys have the potential to be that guy. They're probably too young, so I'm probably going with Urban for now.
Right. Rome?
Yeah, I'm with y'all on Urban.
Yeah.
I think his cultures, he's been a Bear. They got good defensive line play. He's been a Raven. They got deep. And I'm just saying that experience, that tone setting, knowing what he can set the tone to show people, look, man, I'm here to do my job. Right. And some people learn better by seeing than you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's not going, I bet you he's not going to say I'm a hot boy all year.
Right, yeah. We're not going to see too many hot boy chains this year, y'all, because I ain't heard nothing about no hot boys, nothing, because you got some competition, bro. You really have to focus on your craft because you got people.
Yeah, everybody needs to be looking over their shoulder, though.
Right.
I'm tired of who.
I feel like there's 2 players on this defense who ain't got to look over their shoulder. That's Diggs and that's D-Law. That's it.
And that's it. Because even look, well, I'm the president of the Randy Gregory fan club.
Right.
I think he's gonna get busy. He's had a whole lot of stuff in his way, but I feel like this year he's gonna get real busy.
Right.
But he got bash him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And
we'll talk about that too. He's not safe because you do have Basham. You got some of these other guys in house.
And Basham looked like he could be decent playing in position. The Jets had him playing something else.
Right.
So to your point, even and Tuck, I'm not trying to push your buttons, but that cornerback room.
We're about to talk. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's transition to the cornerback. I had it queued up, man. So let's go ahead and get to the cornerback position. This is my hot button right here, man. The cornerbacks, man. So Rome, go ahead, man. What do you got to say about the corners?
Hey, look, I have faith in Diggs. He not rolling out there as Deion Sanders. So don't let my confidence in his talent make you think that I think he's Deion Sanders. I just feel like he's a viable NFL starter. I don't feel like him starting is like, they reaching.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like we definitely – now, do I think that you could just throw him on DK Metcalf and he locked up? It's not that.
No.
It's just that I feel like he's a good NFL starter, and in the right scheme, he can have a great year because he does have good ball skills. Mm-hmm. But of course, that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're talking about the other corner.
Yeah, the other corner. That's why I didn't even list Diggs on the list, man, because he's solidified. He's cool. All right.
Now, I do like
corners? All right,
I'm not too mad at J. Lou in the slot.
Okay.
I feel like J. Lou's gonna be decent in the slot, without question. I like his demeanor. J. Lou is good, and when I saw some of his recent next gen stats, I said, he's pretty decent. Period. Yeah. Even in a bad year, he can play, so that's fine. Anthony Brown can play in that area too. He's serviceable. The problem is, am I hype about Anthony Brown playing outside? Now, I'll ask you guys a question. I'll ask Joe this question. how big of a difference is Anthony Brown and Chidobe Awuzie?
Anthony Brown and Cheeto. I like Cheeto better, but the difference probably is not that big. It's not that much. You know what I mean? I mean, we let him walk a little bit injury prone. Anthony Brown,
that's why I think they let him walk. I think they said. I mean, now do I think either of them are the answer? Like the long-term answer is what I mean. No, but I'm super boss man fat guy. But do I think boss man fat is starting week 1? No. I just don't. I just don't. He got to have a great camp and push. And that remains to be seen. I could be a fanboy all I want, but
right.
The facts are the facts. Do y'all think after a bad camp, they'll sign a corner? Like if we have a camp and they're like, hey, man, we still kind of weak in the area. Do y'all think they'll just go out and pull a trigger?
Go ahead, Space. I'll let you dive into that. I got my theory.
I don't think so. I mean, I personally do not know. I think that Dallas is just going to go and be like, well, we got some young corners, and I think we're good. Me personally, it's just we haven't had that guy at the cornerback position since Byron Jones. But, like, what I mean by that guy, I mean a guy where it's like, don't throw the ball to him or he's going to take it away from you. Byron, like, I'm not trying to throw shade at Byron.
Byron with no fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I'm kind of like, Trevon's good. He's definitely the best corner on the team right now. Calvin Joseph, I'm really trying to hope that his development, comes along because I don't want to. I'm like it's just like we take these. This is kind of a pet peeve I have. We take these mid-round guys and we expect them to be those guys, but you got to understand. Like, and I'm not mad at them. I mean, look, you're getting starting quality guys. But I need that guy. That's why I'm kind of looking at the cat from LSU, toward next year.
Yes, Space. Don't join me.
You're not getting stingly.
Hey, just relax, man. We got this, man. We got this.
And it's not all no. But also give up like Dak Prescott.
But here's no. But here's my thing. My problem is that you kind of have to sit there and be like, am I okay with these guys being starters? I think I'm cool with Trevon Diggs being a starter. I'm cool with Calvin Joseph being a starter. Then when you get to like Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis, I'm like, they're there, but like I can handle it, but they're not gonna be anything special. And that's the thing I think a lot of us are kind of bothered with, and we've talked about, do we go get a Stephon Gilmore or this, that, and the third? Because I still think you need that one guy in there. Mm-hmm. You just have guys there. So
here's my theory: the Dallas Cowboys will pull an Amari Cooper-like move to go get a corner mid-season before the trade deadline. I think they are.
And they're gonna use a linebacker to do
it. But there you go. They're gonna look at all these linebackers and be like, "Bruh, there you go." You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're gonna make a move for a corner, but like I said, like Space just said, man, when it comes to these two rookies, whether it's Kelvin Joseph or Nashawn Wright, we need one of them to emerge because I just don't feel comfortable right now with what we have now. If the front seven that we spoke about earlier, if they turn out to be okay, then we can get by with what we currently have in place.
That's a big help.
But until I see it, I'm just not trusting. I trust Diggs. I trust Jay Lou in the slot, but Anthony Brown's my outside corner. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Kelvin Joseph, as of right now, no. Nashawn Wright, no. So I'm, we do have Maurice Canada, who was an opt-out last year. I think he came from Baltimore last year. And so he's decent.
He's depth.
Yeah, he's depth, but he's not that guy. I just need that guy. Joe, how are you feeling about our secondary?
I think they built it. They built that room to be very competitive. You still have Reggie Robinson, who all reports that he had pretty strong minicamp. So you like to hear reports like that from him. So he'll be in the mix. But if you had to play a game today, it's probably Anthony Brown, Diggs. Mm-hmm. What you hope is that Calvin Joseph or Nashawn Wright can make a serious push where maybe they don't start week 1, but maybe they slide in there, week 2, 3, or somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Anthony Brown the entire year. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that.
Right.
But there's going to be some competition there. And I think even with Jay Lou, they could take a look at Calvin Joseph there. You know what I mean? He's got the speed. and that sort of thing to definitely play that position. You know, a lot of these slot guys are quick, flash guys, and you probably need somebody to answer that. Kelvin Joseph could move in there. I mean, I'm not saying that that's why they drafted him in there.
Mad at that though?
You do have that.
I was listening to a while ago, and he made that point. He said, "So what if Kelvin Joseph ended up starting in the slot? Would you be like that was a wasted pick?" Well, I know how you feel, Tuck, because I know
I'm
who
cool.
you are.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
I mean,
I
no.
need him to be a starter. I need him to be a starter. I think.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, Ron, because I know you're a boss man guy, right? Why do you think it's different as far as the energy amongst Cowboys fans from what we did last year, drafting Diggs in the second round versus Kelvin Joseph? Why do you think there's so many question marks and it's just we don't feel like we got that guy? Because last year, as soon as we drafted Diggs, I went and bought autographed cards. I know people are buying, like, we got our guy. But, like, with Kelvin Joseph, it's kind of like.
I'll tell you why. It's because he rapped. I hate to say it. It's because he rapped. Mm-hmm. And because the media can shift the viewpoint on a player real easily. And as much as there as many of the Cowboys fanatics, as I call us, like they're really digging the stuff, we're outnumbered by the casual fan by droves.
Right.
And Mike Fisher can jump out there, I hate to bring him up, and say, "Hey man, I don't need you dropping bars." And then everyone will be like, "You know what, I don't really like that dude." You know, the crazy thing is he can have one good play in Hard Knocks and all this will go away. Like you said,
he needs it.
He needs to have a good showing. I feel like because he has that real deep. He from like New Orleans, right?
Yeah, from Baton Rouge, yeah.
So you can hear when he talks. It's like, okay. So I think that'll be something lovable about him. Like people are like, I like the way he talks. It's different, but the play has to match. You know, because the bars won't matter.
And I think that's what it is, because he missed the OTAs due to COVID or whatever the situation he was going through. So we wasn't hearing about him. Like, if we were sitting back hearing, all right, Kelvin Joseph had 2 picks today, like, it would change, right? But I feel like we didn't hear any of that, but we've heard everything else off the field. And that's why fans are like, all right.
The best thing is,
I think
if he lock up, oh, I'm sorry. If he lock up, real quick. If he lock up Gallup, everybody will shut up. They'll be like, "Oh, he got some you just got to show a flash."
Now, to be fair, when I was pumping the Pitts train full of gas, the very first person whose clip I used was Pitts versus Kentucky against Kelvin Joseph, because Pitts dashed on that boy, and it was like all downhill from there. So it was like, you know, I was like, all right, but you know, we got to give him a chance. But I feel like, me personally, I need one of these rookies out there day one. I know the draft is really for a slow play, you know, year 2, year 3 down the road. But as of right now, things currently stand because of the situation that the Cowboys put us in by not getting a true veteran, you know, cornerback. I need one of these guys to be Trayvon Diggs of last year. Do you think that Kelvin Joseph or Deshaun Wright could be that guy? Space, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think another thing that kind of plays into the whole where Kelvin got drafted was he went to Kentucky. Remember, I believe he was with LSU, and then he transferred to Kentucky. I feel like if he played his whole collegiate career with them, then we're having a completely different conversation. We probably don't have him. He's probably a first-round pick. Who knows? Right. Because I think a lot of people, like more specifically like casuals, they don't realize how much playing for a certain school goes into your draft stock. Mm-hmm. You know, like I think when we got Trayvon Diggs,
premium,
right. Right. You got the Alabama dude, and we all know that Alabama defenses have a better stock when it comes to who they're coming from. And I was going to ask you this, Tug. I know you mentioned the theory of the Cowboys trading for a corner similar to that of like a Amari Cooper-like trade, but assuming that the Cowboys are like 5-1 or 6-1, whenever that they make that trade, like who would they go after at that point? You know, because it's hard.
It's hard. I mean, because you got some disgruntled players out there, whether it's Xavier Howard. I think the Dolphins are going to handle that situation. Gilmore will probably be handled. So I honestly don't know.
Right, those names, I think money.
Yeah,
it's not the play. Of course they want him,
right?
But Steven ain't gonna pay him.
And that's the hard part. It's like but I feel like they're gonna sit back and just think like, bro, if we just get this corner, everything will be fixed. Like, we just gonna need this one missing piece. And I feel like the Cowboys are always a year behind, because next year, we're gonna be drafting a corner. Because like they knew that they needed a corner in the draft, they missed out, And so here we still are, still needing a corner. And now you still have a few names floating around. I know Richard Sherman. I know my guy Rome stole that from some other media guys about the Richard Sherman.
Man, I'm out here taking everybody.
My guy Rome is still in content about Richard Sherman, but you're starting to hear that name kind of float a little bit.
Hey, for the record, I made my Richard Sherman video first. I know I'm small.
Yeah, shout out to my girl Meg. Man, we did a whole Richard Sherman show like 2 months ago. But it still ain't happening. It still isn't happening. You also have Brian Poole out there, who he's more of a slot corner, but he's still available. Like there's some guys out there.
I will take it almost any. I wouldn't mind a veteran corner. It ain't that it got to be a splash like Richard Sherman has the name. Right. I don't really care. I do want, because as you guys said, you want them to push, but they might not get no play. Like Trayvon Diggs didn't get really on the field to week 3 or 4?
No, he was out there week 1. He took his lumps.
I mean, starting. When was he starting?
He was out there week 1n.
Or was it because the Woozy went down?
It was injury. It was due to injuries.
It was an injury thing.
Never mind.
They do this all the time. They whenever they get a defensive prospect, they kind of just put him on the bench. They did this with LVE. We knew he should have been starting, and took him.
I think Micah's out there though. I don't think they're gonna play with that. They're gonna play.
No, I agree.
They're gonna start Micah, but. I don't know, corner-wise, man, I would love a veteran. Everything this is why hard knocks don't matter to us. We really want to see what's going on with certain positions, like, as you call it, camp battles and stuff like that.
Right.
Because it will shape what they – because, Steven, this is like – he loved Dollar General for the players.
Oh, yeah.
So Steven's like, somebody going to get out there that I can grab.
Right.
He going to grab a Dollar General backup quarterback. He gonna grab a Dollar General veteran corner. Like that's what he gonna do. So I feel like if they have a bad camp, he gonna be on the phone. He's already kind of probably put some feelers out.
Right.
It's not publicized, but they probably been in touch with all these corners.
Right.
Keep your phones on. And most of them, especially if you're a corner that want to, I like that Dallas is like the starter pack for somebody trying to get a better contract.
Right.
Look at the guy that went to the Bears. I always use him as an example.
Yeah,
Robert Quinn.
Yeah. So you would come to Dallas for a lesser contract just to hope the ball, because you're going to be on all of those primetime games.
Right.
So hopefully these guys pan out, and then we're going to have this conversation. But if not,
do you think we missed the opportunity for that in free agency, where all these cornerbacks that we saw were signing these low budget deals, 1-year deals, due to the cap going up, increase next year as well? So I feel like the Cowboys kind of missed the boat, because a lot of teams capitalized on the opportunity. Like, all right, I'll sign you for pretty much nothing, and then you get a 1-year deal, and next year you can negotiate. But we kind of sat on our hands and didn't do anything. So
we playing with fire. You're right.
We playing with fire. So and we always end up getting burnt. We tried the whole replace Des Bryant with Allen Hurns situation, and then it's like, all right,
why are you trying to make me depressed?
Go give me Amari Cooper, bro. Like, all right, this ain't working. Like, all right, bro. Like, it ain't working. So speaking of Dollar General, we got to talk about the low budget safeties that we currently have in house.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So how are you guys feeling when it comes to our safety position? We got Donovan Wilson kind of merged last year. Finally, we've been screaming for so many years, Donovan Wilson, from what we've been seeing in preseason, but we never got him till last year. But then we went out and signed DeMonte Casey, who's coming off an injury. We got Jaron Kershaw. I know a lot of people's been asking about him as well in the chat, so we'll talk about him in a second. But Joe Rod, bro, how are you feeling about this safety position in Dallas going into the 2021 season?
I think it's still obviously a position that they keep ignoring. And it's, if you're talking about making a trade, that for me, maybe not corner. For me, I would look more for a safety. Right. So just because we've invested, relatively high picks at that position with, Joseph and Wright. But for safety, you hope that it's going to be Donovan Wilson, because when he got the opportunity, he made some plays for you. You know what I mean? He's a physical player and this sort of thing. But then you kind of hear some things here, from Broadus about, maybe not so much, showing up for workouts, but but he did show up. You know what I mean? So he was there. But outside of Donovan Wilson, it's kind of up in the air, man. You got Kazee coming off a really recent Achilles injury.
Yeah, man.
Albeit he was out there making some plays there at minicamp, running around and things like that. But Jaron Kershaw, right? He's out there, and he looked good in place of of Donovan Wilson from everything that we heard. So you like to hear that. So it looks like you do have some depth there. But who will be the guy opposite of Donovan Wilson is the major question. Right. You know, so is it going to be Kazeke? Do you trust the health? You know what I mean? Do they bubble wrap that guy? Does he even play preseason? You know what I mean? So, and then you have rookies behind him, Darian Thompson and
is it Mukwamo?
Israel Mukwamo.
Yeah, that's a battle for him.
Yeah, and that's where I feel when it comes to KZ. Like, what is our in case of emergency plan? And we don't have one. So it's like, you know, because even though we do have Jaron Kearse, he's a strong safety. Now, if it's me, if I'm turning on my Madden hat, I'm moving Donovan Wilson maybe back to free safety, and I'm moving Keanu O'Neal back to strong safety, and I'm just kind of rolling out.
Look, I'm telling you, they're gonna get him on the field.
Yeah.
And if the linebacker room just looking too incredible, that's the break in case of emergency.
Right.
They're gonna be like, hey, you used to do it. Like, you know, and he'll take it. He want to be on the field.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's what's gonna happen. Is we gonna look up, and after a week or two, it's gonna be Keanu O'Neal and Donovan Wilson on the field.
Which I wouldn't be opposed to that, because that way you got two solid guys who can come up and hit. And like I said, you know, Space, I want to ask you this: your thoughts on Jaron Kearse? Because like I said, a lot of people are asking about him in the chat. Do you think that he could be a sleeper at the safety position? Me personally, I don't. I think he's going to be just another guy. He's going to be a decent guy, but
I'm going to show you guys. This is the vibe of the safety position with Dallas. I'm not sure if you see that. It says help. Like, listen, man. Like, I always go on my yearly rant of why I absolutely hate Stephen Jones, and that's because and then this son of a bitch goes on a press conference. And he has the nerve to be like, "Oh, we didn't address that safety position." Like,
that night, I mean, it was already bad enough going through that round of the draft. You know, and then he did that. I was like, nah.
I will say this: Javon Kearse is fine as long as he doesn't start at all. He kind of gives me Darian Thompson. He's not terrible. Like, I'm not saying he's garbage, but like, it's like, I don't know what to say. He's an improvement, but that's not saying much. And I think that I don't see it with him. I think that you have guys that can be solid. Like, for example, Donovan Wilson, he can be solid for you, right? You have a guy in what the hell's the guy's name? Israel. They're trying to try him at safety.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's something, but I doubt it. You have both KZ and Neal, so you have the familiarity there. I like them. They're solid. Cool. But I need a young guy on a long-term deal, not like big money-wise. I mean, like 4 or 5 year contract where I could be like, I could develop this dude and I can get something from him. Because I hate having to be like every single year it's some random dude coming in for a job interview and he goes somewhere else.
You mean somebody like Darius Washington?
Man, I was going to say Darius Washington. I'm going to unfollow Darius Washington on Instagram, man.
Yeah, I don't know why you follow him.
Because I followed him during the draft, man. He was posting workout videos. He's hung. I'm like, let me. Bro.
I went and looked at it because you put it up and I got mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. like, we could have just threw away a pick and got the kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they just don't care. Stephen Jones mentioned that. Like I said, that was kind of the knife in the gut, man, during the draft. He's like, oh, that safety position. Like, so you want the safety position? Because here's me. I think that they really wanted Trayvon Moore. I'll stand on that. They wanted Trayvon Moore. The Raiders jumped him.
From what I heard, they did.
We kind of just like, all right. Auto draft, just take it happens, man. It happens. I've been leapfrogging in fantasy football before, but they got to address the safety position and spend some real value, just like Space said, man. It's just like DeMonte Casey, even though he's an upgrade over currently what we had, and he's able to get some interceptions. I mean, he had like a nine interception year, I think, one time in Atlanta, but if he breaks down, we have nothing in place. If he goes down to free safety position, there's really nothing in place. And here we are again with this hole, man. So how do we fix it? I see the chat's kind of mentioning a few names. If it's up to you, Roma, start to you. How do you fix this safety position in Dallas?
Fix it? Well, I pray that KZ can play.
Okay.
Because obviously they're going to give him a shot. They signed him.
Right.
You know. Yeah, let's do the hypothetical. Let's play the hypothetical game because all of us kind of like. So what if KZ don't work out?
Right.
I'm gonna roll with what's your scenario. I'm gonna roll with them moving Donovan Wilson over, and putting Neal back to because I feel like Micah gonna show up.
Right.
No question.
Right.
And like, let's just say there's no way. I feel like LVE and Jalen, one of them gonna show up too.
Right.
Right. And even if both of them, that still leaves depth. You still got Cox and one of those other two that aren't on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna just sign Neal to that contract and be like, "Hey man, it just kind of broke wrong. You're never gonna play."
Right.
I really do feel like he's gonna play strong, and I feel like Wilson is probably gonna end up playing, and I don't think it's gonna be week 1.
Okay.
I just feel like unless KZ shows up in training camp and they're like, "Oh, the Achilles," because look, everybody can't beat Kevin Durant,
Right. Right.
Achilles,
Right.
but you would hope that he can come back because what if it's 85% of what he used to be? Is that better than Xavier Woods?
Yes.
I
I'm sure my guy
is.
Spoonie will agree. Yeah.
I think it is too. So that's still a upgrade. It's not drastic, At least, hey guys, I'll say this. At least no one said the boogeyman's name. I ain't heard one ET. So
Well, it's in the chat. It was in the chat. So I see the chat's lighting it up. So that's why.
See, I was trying to look at my fault.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of.
So a bad camp, and Skip Bayless gonna bring it up because you know who starts it
right
every time.
Oh yeah. I mean,
all right, I feel bad because somebody said
he's 2 years removed from the league now. Is it 2 years?
He should just retire, dude.
You know what's the sad thing? He still would be better than Woods.
Right.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah, he would come off the couch right now and be the best safety on our team. That's the crazy part.
I'm not saying he would. Well, he might just because he has good football instinct.
Right. He knows the system.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
2 years removed, you can say you can have full it like me. You know me, I'll be like, well, he fresh because I'm a super optimistic guy. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But you will say this: do we want more distractions? Now, Hard Knocks, I can get over. The ET with the stuff I read about him, now that's a true distraction.
I mean, because we already got some gun in the seat guys, as Voch would call them, man, with
Javon
Curse. You know what I'm saying? So we got
Team Toxic is back. You're right, never mind. Team Toxic is back.
Yeah, we got a lot of toxic storylines going on now. So Space, let me ask
So
you,
might as well
man.
bring him in. You're right.
Space, let me ask you, how do we dress this safety position?
Divine intervention or some shit. Like, you ain't saving this fucking. No, like, to be serious with you, like, I'll be completely honest. I'm not asking for 2 all-pro safeties. That'd be awesome. I just want you to do your job and not me go on a video and just scream at how you can't cover and you say some stupid crap in a press conference.
Yes.
Like,
that's not possible. That's not possible.
Which isn't, apparently. So like, let me put this into perspective. If we get Atlanta Falcons version of like DeMonte Casey and Keanu Neal, like those 2 pairing, I will take that every day of the week over Xavier Woods and whoever we decide to put a strong safety.
Darian Thompson, yeah.
I'm not mentioning his name because I don't really care for him. Like that's fine. Like I do appreciate that you have some flexibility there. The thing that kind of bothers me is it feels more like a Band-Aid as opposed to like outright surgery to fix like a full-on gash type of wound.
Right.
And so I need to see draft picks there. And what I mean by these draft picks, I don't need a 6-round, late-round guy. I want to see – I mean, that doesn't mean anything. As long as it's someone that I know that can go out there and be like – or like let's say it's like a 2nd to 4th round guy. If the film says this guy is good, fine. Like, I'll take that. I'm not asking for a 1st-round pick. I think that's ridiculous. I don't need to put that into a safety. But I just need to know – I don't have to worry about next year's safeties because they're at least here on a cheaper deal. Like, let's put another scenario. Let's say KZ and Neal show up at the safety position. They're your guys. I can hold on to them for 2-3 years if they pan out. I'm cool with that, but I'm looking to upgrade either way. So,
yeah, Joe Rod, man, you got any answers?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like if I wanted to make a trade sometime in the season, it would be for a safety. Guys I would look at are somebody that's coming towards the end of their contract. Now you're probably gonna have to, give up some decent draft capital. But if you think about
like a Derwin James, someone like
Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, a Darnell Savage from the Packers, or Derwin James. But that guy scared the crap out of me. He's missed like 2 whole seasons. Like can that
I'll
hold?
take it. I'll take it, man. He can miss 3 more.
No, they got to be on the field, man. So, but he'll be in the discussion for sure, man. You already know it.
Yeah.
And Harrison Smith, you get him on a short-term deal, from the Vikings. George Edwards, familiar with him. Maybe they can snipe him from the Vikings on a cheap, 5th-round pick or something like that. So there'll be some options for the Cowboys, but I think we're going to find out real quick, where we're at with Kazee and the other safeties there.
Yeah.
What about like a free agent, like a Trey? Ain't Trey Boston still out there?
Oh no,
I think he got picked up.
The Cowboys fans always want Trey Boston in there with the Dallas.
Hey man, I'm throwing darts at the wall. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna say, we did get undrafted free agent Tyler Coyle out of Purdue, so he's a safety that you can kind of consider possibly, but it's gonna take him a while to kind of get up to speed. But hear me out, Cowboys fam. It's tuck time. We have our future safety already on the Dallas Cowboys.
Here we go.
And who it is? It's my guy, Rome's guy, Kelvin Joseph. I'm telling you, we're going to move him back to safety eventually, man. I just feel it. I feel like that's where he can play. Because a lot of people don't understand. Kelvin Joseph was a top 5 safety recruit coming out of Baton Rouge when he went to LSU. He's recruited as a safety. And what happened is they got Derek Stingley, and they thought they were going to get Patrick Surtain. Like, that's how loaded they thought they were about to be. And they missed out on Surtain, and they decided, because they had an open slot, just to slide him down to the slot corner position. So Kelvin Joseph has played high school at safety. Even when he was at Kentucky, he played some safety as well. So he has the instincts. And if things don't work out as far as his outside cornerback is concerned, because I keep telling people, Anthony Brown ain't going to give up that spot easily. So he's going to bang out. So if we can't get Kelvin Joseph on the field, he would definitely be someone I would consider moving back to free safety, because he's physical. He can get his head around. He can cover in space. He has athleticism.
That would be like next year, don't you think? I don't think that would be this year.
I mean, it's something break him in case of emergency, but I would definitely consider it. I would. I mean, because we tried it with Byron Jones. We tried it with Jay. Like, we tried it with a lot of people before. I don't think he would be opposed to it if he was able to move back to safety. And a lot of people think that when you get moved from corner back to safety, it's like a downgrade. Like, no, it's not a downgrade. Like, you're going to be, and think about this, Kelvin Joseph. If you become that safety in Dallas, bro, all that, we buying all the albums, all the jerseys. So it's like I would definitely keep a look at that, man. Kelvin Joseph moving back to the free safety position, but as of right now, man, it's pretty much just DeMonte KZ, and we have to hope for the best, man. So I'm gonna switch over to the fun side of the ball real quickly before we let everyone go, man. But before we go, Joe Rod, I'm gonna start with you. Go ahead and let all the viewers know where they can find you at.
Yeah, guys, you can hit me up on YouTube. Just hit me up there. My name is Cowboys Blog on YouTube, and on Twitter, Cowboys Blog Net. Hit me up, and I'll follow you back.
Space, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can follow my page at Space Cowboys 17 on YouTube, and if you want to link up on Twitter, you can follow me at SCowboy17 on Twitter.
In Rome.
You can find me on Twitter at Cowboys_fan talk, and on YouTube it's Cowboys fan talk. And yeah, man, come holler at me, man. I'm ready to talk Cowboys all day, every day.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do, man. And of course, you guys can find me on the channel, Cowboys Fans Only. I appreciate all the support, everyone rocking with me in the chat, man. The chat is so lit right now. I can't even keep up with all the comments, so I appreciate all the feedback. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at JTuck151. And you can go to cowboysfansonly.com to get your merch, man. So we pretty much know, as far as offense, completely different scenario, right? Offense is set. We know positions. We know our starters, as far as camp battle is concerned. Now, Space, you mentioned earlier about Dalton Schultz versus Blake Jarwin. Do you think that's going to be a competition there, or do you think it's Blake Jarwin's spot to lose and that Dalton Schultz actually have a chance to become tight end one? I'm starting with you, Space.
I think that the Cowboys didn't know about, and I think that this is something that we didn't know either, because he never got a chance. Schultz never got a chance, because it was kind of like, yeah, Jason Witten there, and then it's kind of like, well, Jarwin's the guy, so it's like, whatever. But now that you have a guy in Dalton Schultz where you can look at it and be like, okay, he definitely could be a really good tight end for you to use. I personally think it is a competition. I understand that people be like, well, Space, Jarwin's got that contract and everything, and he has a bit of a higher standing than he. Sure, I could see that, but I will say this: Schultz has been dependable, and we haven't seen a full season out of Jarwin. We don't know what he's going to look like. And if I'm the Cowboys, you might have to sit there and be like, maybe we can try to up him on a cheap deal too. Maybe. Because I really like Schultz. He's the type of vertical threat, along with Jarwin, but more specifically what Schultz was able to do, he's able to get down the field. And I need that in a tight end. We needed that for the longest time. If you want to make this offense go from one gear to the next, if your tight end can stretch the field, you're going to put a whole another stratosphere on everybody. So
yeah,
I think that's a
yeah. I tried to do that all March, all April, but no one tried to hear me. So
if Kyle Pitts was on this team, we'd be talking about how we're gonna put up like 70 points a game.
And like I was saying on Twitter, right? All this, we don't need Pitts because we got Jarwin. We don't need Pitts. If Dalton Schultz takes Jarwin's spot, y'all gonna hear from me.
It's like
if Jarwin loses his spot to Dalton Schultz, man, yeah, all these Pitts haters, man, they gonna hear from me. They gonna hear from me.
So, can I ask? I want to ask all y'all a question. I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
And it's about the offensive side of the ball, man. The thing that really is going to change this team is because we was talking the trenches, but we was talking about defensive trenches. It's the O-line.
Right.
Let's just be real. Obviously, that going down, but our O-line being so ravaged is really what crippled this team. Mm-hmm. All the other injuries hurt.
Oh, yeah.
But the O-line is what crippled this team. And I know Joe Rod got an affinity for O-line. I definitely go there to get like real good knowledge. He was putting me up on good prospects and everything early in my YouTube game. But I just want to know what Joe think and what you guys think about how good do you think this O-line can be this year? I'm not saying we're going to come out and be the number one line. I'm not saying we're not. I just want to know how you feel about Tyron coming back from injury, Lyle coming back and being in shape, et cetera. Just how do you feel about the line, Joe?
Go ahead, Joe.
Because I feel like that's your expertise. You're better than me in that arena.
I think with the O-line, and I think Brian Broadus had a great point about this as far as like who do you trust more? Do you trust Tyron Smith or do you trust Lyle Collins? And just the fact that you're having this types of conversations is you're kind of hoping, right? You know what I mean? It didn't used to be like that with the offensive line when Tyron and Lyle were at their peaks, right? You knew what they were going to do. Now with the health degraded, you're hoping, crossing fingers. For me, yeah, if they stay healthy, it's like LVE. If they're healthy, dude, top 5 offensive line, no doubt about it. Maybe top 3, maybe 1. You know what I mean? Tyler Biadasz, that guy got bulked up, man. He's going to be eating people left.
I'm hyped about Tyler, man.
Right.
Yeah, but man, it's all dependent, bro. It's all dependent on their health. But now what comes into play is, did they do enough behind them? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see Terrence Steele out there again. He improved a little bit at the end, but not enough for my liking. That's probably why they went and got Josh Ball. They added Ty Nsekhe in the fold as well. Right. So for me, did they do enough behind these guys? Because they will play. We will see some. Joe not to throw shade on them, man. It's not to throw shade on any of these guys. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that we know what they are. Lyle, I think, has more opportunity to stay more healthy. You know what I mean? But with Tyron, he's going to miss some games.
Look, other stuff to the side for Josh Ball. That's a whole nother show. Let's just talk on the field stuff.
No.
Do you think I'm not saying he's going to replace Ty Smith, but if he got to play a game or two, I got more faith in him than when we was rolling out last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not
100%.
He's not terrible.
Right. Because you also got to think about, Brandon Knight got reps last year as well, also with Connor McGovern. And so now we could go to Ty Nsekhe, as, Joe mentioned, or even Josh Ball versus, for some reason, I don't know who he knows, but Terrence Steele had immunity last year because Vosh just dropped a video on like his burst play. Like he was just getting dog walked. I'm just like, bro, take him out the game. Like, and we were all screaming, and it wasn't until finally like, oh, we should move Zach Martin over to the right. Yeah, because he's gonna get somebody killed. You know what I'm saying? Right. So move him. So I feel like this year, if something was to happen, knock on wood, at least we got some more serviceable people who got reps last year. He knows somebody. Like we said, that Tristan Hill needs to know somebody. Whoever Terrence Steele knows, that's who Tristan Hill needs to link up with, because somebody was screaming that kid's name because he was out there getting just abused. Like, he almost got Andy Dalton killed last year. And so I think that's the case. It's like the offensive line, like Joe was saying, the second layer got a lot better due to the injuries last year, so we should feel a little bit, more optimistic about it. But plus, we also have a quarterback who can actually move a little bit. It's not going to be a sitting target back there like Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci and Gilbert was. So I
think Connor going to look better too, because you look different when you got Ty on the left and a viable center on the right, as opposed. And I'm not trying to make Tyler Biadasz a Pro Bowler instantly.
Right.
I just feel like no shade to Joe Looney. I just feel like he's an upgrade from there.
Right. All the shade. Yeah. All the shade. I'll get through all the shade.
Nice guy. Joe's a nice guy, but
he's a funny guy.
But I'll say this about Joe. Joe was decent last year, but he's just not what we needed. I mean, you can't go from Travis Frederick to Joe Looney. Like, that's a drastic fall off.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's
but Travis Frederick never walked through that door. He's different.
Right.
He's Zach Martin level, and unfortunately we lost him to some unforeseen stuff.
Right.
But I do think when you got Ty Smith next to you, Connor Williams is going to look better.
Right.
He just is, because it's like, oh, okay. Because last year it was like, he looked up and he was like, I'm the best lineman.
Right, and I was scared.
Zach was down. But, he's like, it's just me.
Right.
So when it goes back to the right pecking order and you're like, oh, I'm the fourth lineman. Cool. Or the fifth lineman. When you can be the fifth or fourth lineman, you like Connor Williams, all right. When he the first lineman, you like,
you're the anchor. Like nah, you. Nah. So like I said, I think our offensive line will be decent. Like I said, that's going to be a huge boost to our offense. Just
that's
everybody from Dak to Zeke, like
easily.
Like
I saw getting none of our plays right.
Right, you couldn't, and I think Mike McCarthy even said that, like, with all the injuries, we couldn't even get to certain layers of our schemes and our plays, because it's like. Right. You can't hold the ball that long. I gotta get rid of this.
And that's why I can't give Mike McCarthy and some of the coaching staff a full grade for the first year, because when you look at how decimated that line was, it's impossible to fully operate your offense with that bad of an offensive line when everyone's hurt. Now, I do think if everyone's fully healthy, this is a top 5 offensive line without a doubt. I don't think that no homerism or anything. No, it's true. I mean, you have arguably the best tackle tandem in the league, possibly. You have the best guard, other than Quentin Nelson, in Zach Martin, and then you have, he's one hell of a and then you have Connor Williams. I will give Connor Williams this, because sometimes he was pissing me off. He definitely showcased he can be a solid, serviceable guard that I can rely on. And then
it's splash plays that make you mad at Connor Williams.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing. When Connor Williams messes up, it's a big play. It's a big mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing. It's like, if he gets broken for a sack, it's like a sack strip fumble. I will say this: the one thing that I can give with us seeing what we got in Tyler and Connor, because they're young. I'm very apprehensive getting Connor that second contract because of the injury stuff. He needs to show that he can be fully healthy again before I can be like, okay, maybe you can get another contract. Because I'm looking at that guy being another young, hey, we found our guy at left guard. We've been looking for that guy. I'm hoping he's that. I want him to be that. And I think he definitely can be, as long as he can stay healthy. He's improving. And, now it's like, well, what do you do with Tyron? Because I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas goes offensive line first round next year if someone retires.
Man, don't make me. I love Micah, but I was Slater gang a little bit. I wanted
to come right back in and been good, man. We could have put him at left guard, and
I was ready for that wall to return. Look, y'all wouldn't have.
That would have been a hell of a wall, bro. I was there because you watched my draft reaction. I was like, just take Slater. Then okay. Whatever, y'all sniped us for Surtain, Horn is gone. Just take Slater. All right, here we go. Great Wall 3.0.
You can't win because you take Slater, and then right now I'm lying to myself about Jalen. I'm like, he's gonna be all right.
But see, honestly, though, last year the linebackers wasn't my concern. The depth of the linebackers was my concern. But if you would have got, say, we took Slater and we turned around and took Boss Man, but then we got Jabril Cox and brought in Keanu Neal, I'll still be, cool. But it's like, Mike is here. Let's roll out, man. So the last position I want to talk about is the wide receiver 4 spot. Now we know we got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and and Michael Gallup, but that
That's
4th
easy.
slot is kind of the question mark, right? So who do you guys
Right.
think is going to actually be the 4th wide receiver? Rome, start with you, and then I'll go around the space.
I do like Simi, man. I ain't gonna look. I like Simi. I like it, the prospect of Simi.
Right.
You know, you look at his speed. You look at some of his like when you watch his college tape. I like that he can high point the ball a little bit. He's charismatic, of course, but I can't like.
Yeah,
I
thank God we took Simi over my guy.
Oh no, hey man, wish him. That's crazy. I don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna mention his name. Florida State, man, prayers out.
Yeah.
But I can't act like Ced Wilson ain't a beast.
Right.
Like Ced Wilson is a great 4th receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, I can't just you all. It's like my 5-year-old, man. It's like ooh, new stuff.
Right.
So you want to act like Ced Wilson ain't good no more, and I can't. Now Noah Brown, I feel like he might be the odd man out.
Okay.
And it's not that he's a slouch neither.
Right.
It's just like you're gonna keep Ced Wilson. Like nah, I mean, we're gonna keep him.
So
We're gonna have these 5 receivers because we're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? But Noah Brown might be like, you know, he might end up somewhere else. I don't think they're gonna get rid of Simi. He's, if you had to say it right now, is Noah Brown definitively better than him?
I mean, just going off a ceiling, no, not better than Simi.
So that's why I feel like Simi, but will he be 4th receiver? So I guess that was your question. So no, I don't think he'll be 4th receiver and start unless he has a crazy camp.
Mm-hmm.
4th receiver will remain Ced Wilson.
Ced Wilson. And
Yeah, because Ced was all right last
right,
year.
yeah. I mean, because Ced and Dak had a connection last year, even with the other 3 wide receivers. And so, you know, I think that Ced is the lead guy, but I think the Cowboys are going to want to have Simi on this roster, so he might be the wide receiver 5, and he might be a slow play because there's no way that you can get Simi through waivers. Like he's not going to be able to pass through waivers or go on the practice squad. So, you know, I think
They want Simi to work because they don't want to pay Gallup because you know how Steven thinks.
And I think that he's the stash play for Gallup. But Space, go ahead and chime in, man. What do you think about this wide receiver 4 and 5 slot?
I've talked about it last year, and I will say that I do believe Cedric is your guy at 4. I think that, look, he's that guy that I need to, like, if I need someone to be, like, the replacement, I like him. You know, he has that ability, and I liked him coming out of college out of Boise State. I felt, it sucked that he got hurt because I wanted to see him play, and I think that, honestly, he can definitely be a long-term, like, if you're looking for a cheap guy to replace Gallup, assuming it's not Simi, he can be that. I'm not trying to like buy into it because I'm like, oh, we're gonna lose Gallup. It's like I'm looking at him as like he has a connection with Dak and he can build on that. As for Simi, he's your stash guy. He's your 5. I feel bad for Noah Brown because the previous administration wouldn't give him his shot. And it kind of pissed me off because it's like, I want to see what this guy can bring to the table. And, you know, I think that that's what's going to result in him getting out unless you put him at tight end. I mean, he was only there for, like, he was like the most obvious, you know, it's going to be a blocking wide receiver type of guy. And that's why I feel bad for him. I think that, I think Simi's your 5 and possible 4 in the weighted.
Right. Yeah, he got the Reggie Robinson treatment. He didn't get his shot.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the number 4 specifically, I think Cedric Wilson gets the nod only because, you know, I think you get more value from him from special teams, and you best believe Coach Fossil's going to be pounding the table for his special team guy. And for me, Cedric Wilson has that over the rest of the guys, especially Noah Brown. So, you know, I think the competition is going to be as far as like who's that number 5 guy, Noah Brown, Simi Fehoko, or a dark horse. But for me, it's probably going to be Fehoko. You know, it's not like they gave a 6th or 7th rounder on him. You know, he's a relatively, speedy receiver. You know what I mean? I think they like the speed. They want to get more speed on there and put pressure on the defense. You have more speed. You know, how do you answer that? You know what I mean? You have a lot of speed with Coop. and these guys. So for me, I think the competition begins at that number 5 slot. You know what I mean? For Hoko, Brown, maybe Aaron Parker, or maybe a dark horse. One of these other undrafted guys. But will they go 6 deep? That's the question. You know what I mean? I think they had 6 at the end of cuts, but then Malik Turner got hurt.
Right.
They went with 5, I think, ultimately. So they might go 6, but they either have to go short somewhere else. Could they go short at quarterback? I think for me, preferably, I'd rather carry 2 this year. And then how do the other positions go as far as like depth?
Yeah, I know a lot of. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask you. I don't want to mess your point up. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say a lot of people ask in the chat about TJ Vasher, and me, y'all know I'm personally a big fan of TJ Vasher. I like what he brings, but I think he's going to be maybe a practice squad guy. He's going to be a guy we're going to be sitting back watching the Hall of Fame game, be like, oh, all right, yeah, we can like a few highlight plays, but I feel like as far as making the roster, I don't see TJ Vasher making the roster at that 6th spot. So he'll be a practice squad stash if that. So I don't see it. Go ahead, Ron. What was going to ask?
Do y'all think that this is more of a novelty in OTAs, or do y'all really think that they're going to put TP out there in some slot situations?
No, I think they are.
They're going
to get him on the field. Do you think that we can see some Tony Pollard in the slot? Like seriously, because that's something that I'm trying to keep in the back of my mind. Like that's a possibility.
Because technically that's a running back, which is a wide receiver. Yeah, I absolutely think that's going to be the case. I think Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore, they realize what they have in Tony Pollard, especially kind of what Zeke was going through last year, and you saw flashes of Tony Pollard. I feel like they're going to all right, we got to get this kid the ball. We got to get him on the field and give him the ball and see what he can do with it. And Mike McCarthy has had this type of gadget players before, whether it's Randall Cobb and so on. So he's going to – I feel like Tony Pollard needs to be our – not he doesn't have that speed, but our Tyreek Hill per se. Like he needs to be that guy, whether it's a reverse, whether it's a screenplay, whether it's in the backfield with the ball or in the slot. Just different lineups, different matchups, mismatches. Get him the ball, get him in space, and let him do his thing. So I'd say 14 to 15 carries for Tony Pollard, honestly. Not just carries.
I want Zeke to return to form, but I don't want to just put Tony on the shelf. That's stupid.
Right, and that's the hard thing. I feel like there's a ways you can utilize both of them, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I go back to the Rams game and think was that 2019 where, both Zeke and Pollard got off. It kind of has to be like a thunder / lightning type ordeal where you're using both of them, but it's going to be situational because now we got CeeDee Lamb. Like we got and then you add Blake Jarwin. So we getting so many weapons, and that's why Cowboys fans should be confident because our offense is completely loaded, man. I think you think about the only true hole, it might be the tight end slot. Like that's, so. I'm optimistic about next year, man. So, yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for rocking with me, man. Everybody in the chat, man. Like I said, comment and subscribe to each one of these guys' channels. These are my brothers, man. They drop great Dallas Cowboys content, man. So definitely check them out. And we're gonna be doing more live streams together, man. Once we get into the season, we're almost there. You know what I'm saying? We had a slow off season, man, but here things are about to pick up, man. So we'll definitely be, chiming back in. Go ahead.
Let me say one more thing before we leave, man. I gotta thank all of y'all for my YouTube journey, man. Like I said this in my video, but Joe Rod and Space Cowboy, before I even met you, Tuck, was some of the first people to show me support.
Right.
Like they ain't have to.
Right.
I did my first live stream with Space, and Joe's brought me on before, and I'm like wide-eyed, like I didn't know what to do. I really in this public forum, man, I had to say thank you, and then I linked up with you later, Tuck, and y'all ain't done nothing but show me love. So while everybody watching, I wanted to let y'all brothers know I appreciate y'all, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, man. And that's what it's all about, man. Uplifting the community, man. And we all have a voice. People try to mute our voices sometimes, but we're so loud, man. You can't do it anymore, man. It's out of control, man. So I appreciate my guys, man, for coming on. We're definitely gonna link up again. And like I said, everyone in the chat, go to their channels. I'm gonna post in the comments below. Comment to my channel, like, subscribe, turn on notification bell because we're gonna continue to drop content, man. So I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed.